Hello everyone and welcome back to my opinion. And in this video I'll be previewing the second test of the series between India and England. And this test will be taking place in Visakhapatnam. Starting off with India, a disgraceful, embarrassing loss in the first test where they unfortunately managed to do the impossible. There have been a couple of key players ruled out, KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja, where I don't know how long they'll be out for, but apparently Jadeja's injury is a bit serious. There have been 3 players drafted into the squad. Sarfraz Khan I'm very happy for. Washington Sundar as a replacement for Ravindra Jadeja and a medium pacer in Saurabh Kumar. Out of the options that they've got here, I'll be selecting or narrating my 11. I've gone with Rohit Sharma and Yashasvi Jaiswal to open the batting, with Rajat Patidar at number 3 and Sarfraz Khan at 4. Shreyas Iyer at number 5, KS Bharat at 6, Washington Sundar at number 7, Akshar Patel at number 8, Ravichandran Ashwin number 9, Rashid Bumrah 10, and Kuldeep Yadav at number 11. On the 11 I've got here, this isn't me leaving out Shubman Gill because I think he should be dropped from the setup. This is more to preserve him. Now, I thought they could even done this in the second test in South Africa, where I think he was dismissed for a low score in the first one. And even then I thought, right, you've played a World Cup, but the World Cup final has not gone your way after doing so well in the previous 10 games. And a lot of players who were part of that side wouldn't have been able to recover from that. And this was more preserving a fantastic player who I think will be a superstar. This would be Shubman Gill, and that's why I've gone for him to sit out in this game, not because he should be dropped from the setup, but to preserve a very good player. And that's why I've gone with Rajat Patidar at number 3, where he has batted at that position for the India A side, and Sarfraz Khan at number 4, who also batted at that position as well for the A side. If they do play Shubman Gill, which I think they may do, he'd bat at number 3, meaning you could go one of 2 ways. First of all, you could say Patidar was included in the squad before Sarfraz Ahmed, therefore he plays at 4. Or you could play Sarfraz at 4 because he's batted at number 4 and has been more prolific than every other domestic Indian batsman. But in my view, I would play both Patidar and Sarfraz Khan, playing in their respective positions as well. Now, on Washington Sundar at number 7, truthfully, I don't think he's the best replacement for Ravindra Jadeja, where if you've got Jadeja, Ashwin, Akshar Patel, you've got Ashwin and Jadeja who scare opposition sides more, and Akshar Patel being that defensive spinner as a third spinner who could also get wickets. But in this case, if you've got Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel as an opposition, are you as scared? No, you're not. So you've got Ashwin who will bring that fear factor, and there'll be a lot of pressure on him out of the spinners if you play 3 spinners, which is why Siraj didn't do too much bowling in the previous game, and I didn't think his bowling would be useful for this type of surface, where Visakhapatnam is very similar to what is on offer in Hyderabad. That's why I've gone with Kuldeep Yadav to be that attacking spinner with Ashwin having both gears, and Washington Sundar and Akshar Patel can do the bowling between them as well. So you've got 4 spinners and the fantastic Rashid Bumrah, and that would be 5 bowlers. This may be an unfair comparison, but does Washington Sundar's bowling fill in for the absence of Ravindra Jadeja and his impact with the ball? No, it doesn't. I would have picked Sai Kishore, who's a left-arm finger spinner as well and can bat a bit. He's been doing very well for his state side, who he deserves an opportunity. Washington Sundar is a better batsman than Sai Kishore, but even if you want to play 3 spinners, they wouldn't do, they'll play 4. If you've got Sai Kishore, Akshar Patel and Ravichandran Ashwin, that's a much more threatening attack than if you replace Sai Kishore with Washington Sundar. Even though the batting will be strengthened if you play Washington, India have got such batting depth that they don't need that extra batting ability to really count on. And that's why I feel Sai Kishore would have made the bowling side a bit more threatening. And in that case, if you've got Kishore, Akshar Patel, Ashwin and Kuldeep, you've made a fantastic spin quartet, and you've got Bumrah there as well. And you've got, out of 38 domestic teams, you've got players like Sai Sudarshan, who I think would have been able to make this side if he was included in the squad. And someone like a Rinku Singh who averages 16 first-class cricket and yet isn't in contention to play in the test side. Which is why, even if Virat Kohli doesn't return for the last 3 tests, there's no need to panic. India are in a great position to go on and win the next 4 games and win the series. And really, they should not have lost the game from leading by 190 runs. I still can't believe how they could do that. I've never seen that happen in my just over 12 years of watching cricket. So I don't think that'll happen again this time. But another thing to consider is that you're including Kuldeep Yadav on the side. He's an attacking threat. If you put everyone on the boundary just because they start sweeping again, you are nullifying the effect. Yes, the ball will turn, but you're nullifying the effect of an attacking ball like Kuldeep Yadav. You're making life more difficult for him. So it was bad enough when they did that with an Ashwin, Jadeja and Akshar Patel, who are more likely to bowl the ball in the same handkerchief area, be more consistent with their lengths. Kuldeep Yadav isn't as likely to do that. So if you put all the fielders on the boundary because they're looking to sweep him, he will not be as effective. And it's all down to the captain and the coach as well as to how they process things going to the game and during the game. Because another wonderful statement that I read from the batting coach, apparently because the opposition prepare to play in India and India go and win overseas as well, apparently they're also allowed to win one game in India. And by the way, that's the game where you're leading by 190 runs and somehow mess things up. And this isn't even against the England side of 2012. This is against an England side that no one knew what to expect going into it. And there was even a case where Ashwin and KS could have taken that partnership a bit more. Bumrah Siraj could have maybe got a few more runs, and not blaming them by any means. And India would have won the game despite sleepwalking after the end of day 2. So if you're losing to that side, no disrespect to England, and saying they're allowed to win one at home after trailing by 190 runs is a disgraceful comment. And even if India lose a second test and win this series 3-2, I feel the future of the coach and the captain in this test side would come to a close. As I usually don't say these kind of things, but a home series is a pride for every Indian fan and Indian player, and they usually don't give the opposition a chance. If you give the opposition a chance, especially this one where they didn't know what to expect going to this series, it would be an aberration. So that's my view. And now in England, a memorable victory in the first test, but I still thought they got their bowling attack wrong, the selection wrong going into the game, and we saw elements of that during the game. For my 11 here, I've gone with the same top 7 that we saw on the previous test, and Tom Hartley will play in the side. I thought he couldn't fit into the side in my preview for the first game, but he did and took 7 wickets in the second innings, so he'll play. If Jack Leach is fit, he'll play. There was an injury cloud around him where he only bowled 10 overs in the second innings. If he isn't fit, then Shoaib Bashir will take his place, another left-arm finger spinner, and James Anderson will play ahead of Mark Wood in my view, which will be the correct decision. There are 2 places up for grabs. One, if Jack Leach isn't fit, then Shoaib Bashir will take his place, and secondly, Rehan Ahmed is inexperienced, sure, in the previous game, but they rate him as a talent, and that's why they may keep him in the side, especially since they won that first game. But if they play Shoaib Bashir ahead of him, it will be someone who will be more likely to land the ball on the same spot consistently than Rehan Ahmed would be, but they may still play Rehan Ahmed because they rate him as a talent. There's a rumor floating around that they would go with, or they could go with, an all-spin attack. That'd be a huge risk, as you've got inexperienced Shoaib Bashir and Rehan Ahmed. Rehan Ahmed could be expensive. You've got Jack Leach. If he does play, he'll be able to contain the runs. If not, they may have to play a seamer then, because they don't have any other spinners in the squad. Tom Hartley, yes, he got 7 wickets in the second innings. However, if India don't get flustered in this game, I still think the inexperience can show, where you've got the attacking Indian batsman like Rohit Sharma, fantastic player of spin. Jaiswal, you'll know what he would do, a fantastic player of spin. Patidar also looks to go aggressively at 3. Sarfaraz Khan, playing domestic cricket, will be a fantastic player of spin, and Shreyas Iyer, I think, one of the best players of spin in the world, along with KL Rahul. So if you got that kind of a top 5 there, and you've got inexperienced spinners, things can get difficult, which is why I wouldn't play an all-spin attack. I'll play James Anderson as that controlling seamer. And as I'd said in the first game, I said this even at the start of the video, the conditions in Hyderabad and Visakhapatnam are fairly similar, so a controlling seamer on a surface that won't have too much pace in it, and maybe some reverse swing on offer as well, would be a very good option, so Anderson should play. The reason why England got back into the game in their third innings of the first test was because after the third wicket fell, they realized that their approach could not be feasible from that point in time. They had to adapt, and so they were still busy at the crease. A scoring rate of 4 over was maintained. You saw Ollie Pope's knock as well, but the majority of the runs came by rotating the strike with the boundaries here and there, and that would be something they'd be looking to do in this case as well. And something that could play into their hands would be if the same defensive tactics from India are on show in this game. Then if Kuldeep Yadav is attacked with the sweep early on and the boundary fielders are placed for him, like I said in the Indian segment, it would probably reduce his effectiveness. And then we may see, I think it'll be tough for us to see a similar tale, or tough for us to see an England win in this game. However, England would know that if they do attack, unfortunately, this Indian side, with the tactics that have been employed, they will put the fielders in the boundary ropes and not give them a chance. So that's what they have to do. Once they score a few boundaries, they shouldn't do what they did in the first innings, where they squandered, that they kept on squandering some kind of an opening. They got 55 without loss, then they went to 60 for 3. 121 for 3, then 155 for 7. They should not do what they did in the first 2 days, and if they do that, it'll be very tough for them to win this game, but they'll be able to give a respectable showing. And finally, comparing the 11s of both sides. Looking at the top 4 for India, you've got Rohit Sharma, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rajat Patidar and Sarfraz Khan, compared with Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Ollie Pope and Joe Root for England. That's an inexperience in the top 4, for India, barring Rohit Sharma, but all 4 will be fancying their chances. They're fantastic players of spin. Ollie Pope played a mammoth innings in the previous game. Joe, we know how good he is, but I feel the Indian top 4 has got an edge over the English top 4 because of how well they play spin as a collective. On 5, 6, 7, you've got Shreyas Iyer, KS Bharat and Wanindu Sundar compared with Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes and Ben Foakes. Shreyas Iyer has got the edge over Johnny Bairstow at 5. I'd said Ben Foakes, on a consistent basis, can you bank on him to perform in this part of the world? Probably not, but I expected him to play some match-defining innings at some point across this series, and he did do that in the first innings of the first test. Washington Sundar versus Ben Foakes. Sundar is assured against pace and spin, but I feel Ben Foakes can also occupy the crease like we saw in the previous game. The Indian spinners have got an edge over the English spinners, and Bumrah is an attacking seamer. Anderson will be the defensive seamer in these conditions that could maybe get the reverse swing. But Bumrah, based on, even though he looks to attack, he can also keep the runs down as well because of how well he has been doing. He's a fantastic bowler. So I feel, is it a fair comparison comparing both those two, especially in these conditions? Not so much. Bumrah does take that. So overall, India have got the edge over England going to this game. And I saw the title of an article on Cricket for India's battle would be against themselves. If we see the same defensive tactics, will give England a chance. But I feel, especially if England go with the rumoured or spin attack, India would be fancying their chances to make this 1-1. And if they lose a second test out of 5, like I say, even if they win the series, even if Virat Kohli doesn't return for the last 3 tests, India have got so much talent to win a series at home against anyone. If they even let England win a second test, it'd be an aberration. And like I said, the future of the coach and the captain in the side must be questioned in their respective roles. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. Remember, this is my opinion. What's yours?